So you want to focus on 2-on-1 or Hellbat today? 2-on-1?
2-on-1, please. I do it a lot more, and I prefer to play with bio units.
So the Hellbat's kind of like your weird opening, kind of like you just throw.
Hellbats are like when I
right?
just want to try and get a free win.
Okay.
Like usually I win with
What's
a
your
time, and if I
transition
don't, then usually getting stim and going into bio tank.
Still going to bio. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, bio off Hellbats is not bad. It's not bad at all.
Yeah, I watch a lot of Terrans do it all the time. The better ones.
Yeah. Especially like there was even that Hellion Cyclone opening Innovation was doing for a little bit, which is a bit tricky. I feel like this barracks is a few seconds late. I know this is a bit rusty. I'm just double checking. I think it was just your SCV was late. That's all. No worries. It's just seeing what happened. So we're doing a barracks gas standard 2-on-1. All right, orbital. So what's your follow up on your 2-on-1?
Usually, depending on what happens, sometimes I'll get like a few more barracks and just try and win, or sometimes I'll just usually I'll drop a third somewhere in my main usually.
Okay, so let's say the standard transition we're working on is 3 base. What's the order of structures? So once you get up to, your medevacs are going across the map, is it just random or?
After the 2 medevac drop, I very much wing it. I think part of the reason I lose a lot of my games is that I wing it a lot, and I'm not good enough at the game to wing it yet.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't think you should ever wing it, especially with Terran, with the order of your structures. Like, you should have different clear reasons for choosing one over the other, right? Because otherwise we're just kind of doing slightly different variations, and your timings will come out differently. And especially with Terran, then if you do that, there'll be a lot of times you engage like just before 2-2 finishes, or you push out and you've only got 1 tank when you're meant to have 3. Like, this sort of like just things don't quite line up. And when you're Terran and you want to be hitting aggressive timing attacks, which is how Terran plays, obviously you play like the top Terrans do. You play like kind of like the meta styles, right? You're not playing like a rough style. So it's all about usually trying to get big advantages or finish the game with mid-game pushes, right? It's opening pressure into a big 2-2 push. Those are your key points. So definitely we should be always defining that. And if you go across all of your matchups and try to get a standard transition, and then if you want to change it up, write out the exact order for the variation. So this is something which I have to really tighten up. Every time I'm falling apart as Terran, I realize I'm just making shit up after my opening. My first 4 minutes. It's like, sometimes I go double eBay, sometimes I go third CC. So basically the things you need for a macro transition off this is third CC, double eBay, third and fourth gas on natural, and 3 more barracks, right? That's to get up to your 2 base setup. And then later, obviously, you can add more barracks, more factories, whatever else, right? But that's your 2 base setup.
My depots are late in this game as well. It's just happening right now.
No worries. Have you got 2 monitors, right?
I do, yeah.
Yeah. Just take a glance at the document there, and I want you to look at that standard transition list, because that's actually more important, is ordering it in our head, right? Because then we've got to define, and then we can focus on refining. So shift those around. I don't know what order you want. See how you see the bits I have highlighted? Just move those around to whichever order you want as your most standard. We can adjust it later if you find it doesn't line up. You're like, I need the gas earlier before the barracks or something, or whatever. But I just literally wrote them down in a random order. So if you want to kind of cut paste those or just kind of shuffle those at all, go ahead. And we'll kind of have that as standard.
I mean, third CC seems like the better option in most games, unless they're memeing on me.
Yeah. I mean, just as standard though, like what order should it be? Like, do you want to go upgrades first? I think third CC before upgrades is usually nice.
Yes, that's from memory, because I honestly don't think about it too much, but from memory, usually I'll get a third CC and then double engineering bay right afterwards.
Okay. And then do you think third and fourth gas, then the extra barracks, or the other way around? I honestly don't know.
I honestly don't think about it. I have no idea. I wing it.
Exactly. So that's
it's like when I need it is when I get it.
So this is the point. This is why it's important. This moment here is where shit gets really intense, right? So this is where we need to make the game easier for ourselves. And what most of us have the terrible habit of doing is what we're talking about here, where we're like, we just kind of wing it. We'll go back, and you'll go back in between microing units, and you'll actually be wasting active brain power going, fuck, what do I need? Third CC? Shit. Okay. Gases, eBays. And because it's different every game, sometimes you'll just happen to throw down the eBays, realize you don't have the third CC yet. you're going to forget sometimes to go back and make your upgrade start and that sort of shit. So we want to make this as simple as possible because we'd like to put a lot of focus into these Marines right now, as much as possible, right? So if we can just memorize that list and we can say, okay, let's say third, fourth gas, then 3 more barracks, that's going to be the same thing. And we're linking it up, right? Third and fourth gas at the same time. Why? Makes it easier. If you take the third gas, you got to take it, then 20 seconds later, you got to put 2 guys on that gas, then you got to take the fourth gas, 20 seconds later, you got to put more guys on it. Same reason I don't like staggering the engineering bays. I don't know about you, but whenever I build them on separate timings, one of those upgrades gets forgotten, and they end up lining up eventually
absolutely.
Anyway.
100%. Yeah, and they need to be next to each other as well. Like if I put an eBay at the ramp while I put one behind my mineral line, I'll miss one. There's my eBays after the third, by the way.
Yeah. So that seems to be, you went the gases at a separate timing, but otherwise you basically did what we'd written down anyway, so that's awesome. And then obviously it should be 3 more barracks in the next little while. So that's cool because
you get more barracks, but I think I only get 2 more.
Oh, that's nasty. Yeah, it's so important to get those barracks because they're already so delayed with the 2-on-1. So it's like, it's so important to get these barracks down at a good timing and then immediately start reactors on them. So having that down and having it really like all 3 barracks at the same time, go back all 3 reactors at the same time, that's also important because otherwise, same thing with the gases. If you got to go back 3 separate times to build reactors, I guarantee you're going to be inconsistent as fuck. I know that because I am. There's a reason my Zerg and my Protoss are stronger than my Terran. You don't need to click as many things with Zerg and Protoss as you do with Terran. So a lot of my improving with Terran has just been about like, let's try and simplify the shit out of this race, man, because there's so many just little things to click on. Awesome. So yeah, like you've been really good with your depot production this game, which has been awesome. I mean like almost too many depots, upgrades. But that's fine. Yep. Yeah, the upgrades being forgotten is huge because now you're not going to have 2-2 till like 13 minutes or something. Hey, it's going to be a long way away. Yeah. And your opponent's like a full upgrade ahead, so it kind of just, diminishes your timings. And we really want to try to be like killing a base, hopefully winning the game. Hopefully they throw their armigers. We want to be killing a base with 2-2 and like probably like 7 siege tanks or 6 siege tanks or something. So you finally added a 5th barracks, but you've also added the 6th barracks here, right? So it's kind of ended up a little bit random with how they've come down. And then we also don't have a 2nd factory yet, whereas you're a big 2nd factory guy, right?
Oh, hell yeah. Absolutely. I will always get a 2nd factory in TvZ.
Cool. So I'm going to put in caps here same time for both the 3rd and 4th gas and the 3 more barracks. I think remembering to link those actions up, so important. So important. Just to make life easier for us. Random tangent. You're facing mutas. Do you still just go double tank production, or do you build like a Thor out of 1 or 2, or do you actually swap to mines?
I've been trying. Like this is the first game of the day, and I don't even remember if I get mines at all in this game. But I have been like in a few of the games, the other TvZs that I played today, I have been getting drilling claws after my armory and getting a 2nd factory with a reactor. And then like,
the tech lab
and then just getting like a handful of tanks to start off the game, not pushing with the tanks and just using them at home and trying to just push with biomine instead. But honestly, like the Zergs I play make so many units that I don't get to leave my base, or I very rarely will be able to leave. Like if I move out, I will like always take damage.
Because that production's not coming down like in an organized fashion. So because of that, it's harder for you to focus on your pressure as much. So like your 2-on-1's not getting much done. And then your follow-up pushes. Yeah, exactly, right? So because of that, he's got freedom. And like I've seen Diamond 3 Zergs, like barely in Diamond, kind of hovering on Plat 1, who look like absolute gods when they're left alone. It's like the Zerg, you're like, wow, this guy's maxed out at like 8 minutes or something, you know? It's just one of those things where every little thing we slip, the Zerg's going to seem more invincible, right? So if we can tighten up our follow-up, if we can tighten up our barracks timings, etc., our upgrade timings, because we've got a real consistent follow-up, you're naturally going to make less mistakes, like forgetting upgrades, like forgetting reactors. Your 2nd factory is coming down here so late in this game, right? That could be finished minutes ago, already pumping out widow mines. We could have drilling claws, etc. So that's I like that reaction though. The idea of okay, we can do that. But honestly, if you're playing your game and you're just so focused on like your macro and doing your standard thing, you get to a point where you're like, wait, he has mutas and I'm still building tanks and I've just got 9 siege tanks. It's still totally fine. You spread those tanks out against Mutiling Bane, like in a nice, pre-spread with your Marines pre-spread. You can absolutely take that out. You just got to be a bit more wary to do a bit more pre-spreading. I saw in that last game, which you were playing on stream, you were doing kind of like the tanks as like in a little block, which is better against Hydra Bane, right? Where you kind of use the tanks almost as a bit of a wall. Your Marines kind of stand in line with them and you really have concentrated firepower. If they've got like masses of Ling Bane, sometimes it's a little bit scary to do that. And it's a bit better to just have your siege tanks spread a little bit more. But the important thing is if we hit a crisp timing and set up our shit right, tanks still do okay versus Ling Bane Muta. They still do totally fine versus it.
I've done it before, like just one with tank versus Ling Bane Muta, but I'm trying to do the Widowmine thing. I'm getting drilling claws right now, but I'm not producing any mines, which is I think I'm going to max out on without even being able to get any Widowmines.
And this game is lost at this point, like because we're on pure Marine tank. He's on Hive. He's gonna have ultras out soon, but just in general, there's too much creep spread, so we can't actually get in range of a base, right? Like Ling Bane will beat our army if we go deep on creep. So because we've had no pressure, because we've been too far behind on that stuff, like we just haven't created any inroads into the Zerg's territory. We haven't really created enough threat or pressure. He's just had freedom to do whatever the hell he wants, right? So I think the important thing, honestly, is just getting the timings down in your structures. And I think a lot of it's about having faith in that process of like, let's just focus on me cleaning up my game and being consistent and perfect with it. And the victories will come in time. So that's going to be step one of kind of, I'm already creating like a homework / focus list, which you can kind of focus on while you're streaming and playing the next few days.
No, I love having focuses. It's literally my whole thing.
So it's literally being, we want anal Maynarde. So Maynard's chat, demand that he is retentive about doing the build consistently.
After anal.
Yeah, I totally just sidetracked my own brain. We want your build order to be always the same. Build order to always be the same. So basically, every game, when you bounce home, and I'll leave this playing just so the chat have eye candy of us getting our Marine army killed, because this game is about to end.
Yeah, I think I leave the game pretty soon. Like as soon as I.
Oh yeah, you're gonna move on creep in a big ball.
Yes.
Which is going to bring us to our next point, which we'll get to in a sec. But for now, that's just eye candy. Ignore it. Focus on the document. Avert your eyes, Terran fans. We want build orders to always be the same every game. So anytime you let your adrenaline take over, your excitement take over, and throw shit down in a random order.
Research complete.
Try to like school yourself, or kind of like load up the replay. Try to load the replay and rehearse out loud what the structure should have been. So like, shouldn't have gone double eBay and barracks before third CC, etc. Some shit like that. Basically just be super, super obsessed with making sure that's the same. And the other part is going to be engagements, which we're going to come to now because we've seen, obviously, this is going to become easier naturally as the macro and above consistency lines up. You'll get way better results, no matter what. But
this is when I leave. I just see the ultras and I tap out.
Even if he didn't have ultras, we were going to die there because of how he set up. Stay in the replay. Stay in the replay. Did you leave?
No, I haven't left.
Good. People always leave the replay.
The in-game Maynard has left the game. I haven't left the game.
Yeah, good. I was just checking. I didn't think you had, but people always do that whenever I'm coaching. So. Sorry, someone's calling my phone. One second.
That's all the minerals you're getting out of that cluster.
Telemarketers, why don't you take a nice tall glass of get the fuck out of my life?
Research complete.
They're good like that. Is it a private number? If it's a private number, the build is you just don't pick up.
It wasn't even a private number. They show the number now. It's just like a random home phone number. And I'm like, oh, cool. Oh,
actually, you know the best thing, just as a quick side, I don't know what kind of phone you have, but my Samsung S8, when it's a telemarketer, the phone will warn me. It'll say suspicious or scam phone number with an exclamation mark. I'll be like, oh, sick. Thanks, phone.
Oh, wow.
And I'll just not answer.
Damn.
It's so good.
Should be crazy, dog. Yeah, I gotta get a new phone sometime soon anyway. I gotta charge it like 3 times a day if I use it a lot. Oh yes, you get way better results in these engagements, right? Because there'll be less creep, because everything earlier lined up when you get better at the macro and everything. And like, oh, guess what? He doesn't have as much shit because your 2-on-1 killed 30 Zerglings and like, you know, stopped him from building drones for 2 minutes or something, right? Because he felt afraid. So obviously that's going to be a flow-on effect. So engagements kind of come after, but at the same time, I feel like we definitely could have a lot more comeback potential in our games. So, first things first, Marauders coming in before we're maxed makes a huge difference. It really helps us out. You don't need them, but it makes your army 1,000 times better to have some Marauders mixed through. So let's go back to that list of transition. I'm going to leave a little gap because the next bit is kind of your 3-base addition. It's kind of like not as important. Do you like to go... Okay, so we normally then go second factory and gases on 3rd base as soon as we land it. Or maybe not that early, actually. I don't know when we need those gases, but I want you to define when those gases go down. So
Okay.
gas timing can figure this out after some practice. So we want to define everything, every detail. So second factory, gas timing on the 3rd. Do you go 3 more barracks from there? Do you like to go up to like 7, 8 barracks?
I have no idea.
Let's just, okay.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know this isn't very helpful, but I literally like just react. You know,
okay,
like.
We're gonna give you 3 more barracks. I often go 2 these days, but then I sometimes add another 2. We're gonna say 3 more barracks come down, and all tech labs, right? So it should be 1 tech lab, 4 reactors early game, which is what you've kind of done here, except we had the extra random barracks with a reactor because we went 4 barracks and then 6 barracks. Basically 3 more barracks, all tech labs, and obviously we basically, you know, add Marauder production as they finish, and that can make a really big difference. So that's big, just because we're pure Marine at this point, and that's okay, but it's like very much gets punished a little bit harder by every mistake we make. That's all. So back to the engagements. As the macro and assistancy lines up, that'll be good. We should be pre-clearing creep, right? You had a double drop out on the left earlier. If we'd kind of kept that active on the map, that would have been able to keep clearing creep. Your opponent's gone mutas. It's hard to do that in this game. I think most people are still probably playing Hydras though, right?
I had 1 game against a guy that played Hydra. Most of them are playing muta.
Most are playing mutas? Okay.
No, maybe 2. Okay,
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 it's
so
a
like
bit of
50-50. 50-50.
Well, it's much easier to clear creep versus the Hydra players, right? You can just leave your dropships out there and do whatever the fuck with them, right? As long as you know, you don't just leave them sitting on creep or something. Because clearing creep ahead really helps. So we should be pre-clearing creep a little bit. But most importantly, we should never move our whole army on creep. There are times where sometimes you just like, I feel like I gotta go, we're gonna do it. Like here, maybe in this game, you're like, I just need to force a fight. Because if I let it go any longer, they're going to have too much stuff, right?
Well, that was my thought. I wanted to close the distance between me and him as soon as possible. Like, I wanted to be in a hatchery fighting.
And that's why, at this point, like I said before we even got to this point of the replay, like, I said we've already lost. And obviously that's, like, me exaggerating. But it's kind of true in that, like, if there's this much creep, this much economy, it's just so hard to even get in range of a base without going deep on creep, right? But you actually set your army up really nicely here. But then we did the thing where we kind of went, oh, fuck, I got to get in there, and we kind of clumped everything up. And you did this in the previous game just when you were moving across the map. So even here, when you were first moving on creep, you did take a while to siege up. So actually, let's talk about the most important thing. Always scan ahead. Stim Marines ahead, bonus points. So this was like kind of okay scans ahead, but it doesn't really see that further ahead, right? And we're still relatively pumped. So you spread a little bit here, but notice like here at this point, okay, there we go. We scan ahead there at that point. Because we hadn't identified where his army was, I feel like, yeah, we definitely should have been hunting for that with those first scans just a little bit more. And then we do a good kind of spread here, realizing, you know, how dangerous this position is. We are a little bit slow to do it. So if he jumped on us at any point in there, it was danger to territory. Because if we stim and try to run all our Marines away together on one control group, we basically give him the engagement. As long as he has enough Banelings, we will lose at max supply no matter what. I also feel like you weren't sure where you were pushing with this push. So I think if you'd gone straight up the left, you'd be able to get in a more choked up area and kind of spread your tanks out, even though you'd still be deep on creep. But I felt like when you pushed out with this army, you didn't have an idea of what base you were kind of trying to get to.
No, I agreed with you in the sense that I thought I was dead, and I just wanted to try and YOLO and a fight. Like I didn't feel comfortable or sure of myself at any point. I thought I'm just gonna try and go for it. Maybe he fucks up. That's my only chance.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
And the thing is, like, we might have been able to take this army, but definitely needed to be like
rematch.
pre-spread more, and we needed to just kind of, if we moved up that left-hand side, we would have been able to set up a much better fight. So you should always, when you're moving out, already have an idea of kind of which base is your push path. And every map, you should have a favored push path where you're already visualizing where you're going to set up your tanks. And what that means is every game you'll do on it, you'll just get better and better at knowing where the good tank spots are as you leapfrog forwards. And whenever you go in between a spread and a move forward, I want you to just resist the urge to ever select your whole group. Like in this situation, we should only be moving little squads of Marines forward by boxing them, and the individual tanks by like boxing them, siege on siege, cure that up. I think because the mutas came in and counterattacked you, we kind of, when we look back at our army at this point, we kind of panicked and we kind of went, okay, select whole army, A move. And that's like the habit, which is probably the number one thing which causes all of us to throw games as Terran. Whenever we lose confidence, we do this a lot. You'll notice in your games where you're confident, you're more methodical, and you won't do that. But the moment we get unconfident, or we're like, okay, I just got to make a fight happen, we select our whole army and clump it together. And if there's any splash damage on the field, so literally every Zerg versus Terran, there's Banelings, and if Storm's finished against Protoss, that's when 90% of engagements are lost. It's that single command, because it takes us so many more actions to spread out again. And if those Marines are all clumped like this, we should, like, it's a death sentence no matter what happens. So that's something in PvT as well. Whenever you're setting up pushes, try to avoid doing that. Like, once you find your area you're sieging up, try to just move forward your sections of units manually. And when they A move, it should literally just be select your army on control group 1, stim, maybe an A move, but probably not even that. So even if some of your units aren't fighting, it'll do more good for you if you just let the units stay pre-spread and engage naturally as the enemy come to them, rather than clumping them. Because the moment we clump them, we need to have Maru hands to actually spread our Marines and get back out there. And the splash damage is what ends up killing us. So that's where a lot of games will be lost.
My engagements in... Oh, we're actually leaving the replay now. My engagements in TVP are a lot better than in TvZ. They're way better. I usually win fights in
lots
TvP.
of 2-base pushes or like 3-base mass tank? Are you doing that style, or is it Liberators?
I do go lots of tanks. Usually double factory tanks. If I'm really feeling really spicy, sometimes triple factory. But usually like a lot of Marine tank is usually what I rely on. And then I use the tanks to, like, a lot of people at my level just 1A their shit around. And it's really easy to abuse that with tanks, because whenever their Colossi or High Templar get in range, which happens a lot, because they always just move the whole thing in a big clump.
Yeah.
I'll just grab the tanks and shift click through the High Templar and kill them all.
Jeez.
And then like or the Colossi, like, it's really easy to just target fire them because they're just so obvious, an easy thing to click on. So the tanks will target fire them, kill them, and then usually the bio, if I'm top of my upgrades, which I usually am, my bio will generally do the rest against the charge lots. So the only things I'm afraid of are the splash damage. If there's no splash damage, I'm not afraid of Protoss.
Yeah, exactly.
At my level, with an asterisk.
Well, I mean, yeah, siege tanks, if you get enough of them up, they're actually very good at that. So that's cool. I mean, because you've got the confidence there, and because there's no creep spread kind of spotting your army and being like, oh, fuck, is he going to jump on me at any moment? The way Ling Bane works. And even if you fall a little behind against a Protoss, you go for a lot of range libs or a lot of siege tanks, and it kind of doesn't matter as much, because as long as you set your army up correctly, you can take a good fight. Whereas against Zerg, it's all the lead up, right? It's all about, hitting your timings at a sharp enough moment. Because otherwise you need to play a much longer game to really get the efficiency. Host up a map, any map.
Okay.
Guys in chat, as well as Maynard's chat, if anyone is about, we want an easy match because we want practice. Anyone who's about 3,700 MMR, 3,600, because what's your MMR right now? It's like 4K, right?
I have no idea. How do I
It's
check
like
again?
3,900 at the moment. So yeah, anyone who's about
39, yeah.
3.6, 3.7, 3.5, anyone who's about Platinum 1, low Diamond 3, anyone in that range, we want, because we are trying to focus on learning the build. And this is the same thing. You guys will see me do this every now and then when I'm really struggling with Terran especially. occasionally with another race, but usually I only have to do it with Terran because Terran's the one that punishes me the most for mechanical mistakes. Do you want to practice with Special, Maynard, or because he's willing to help?
You know what? Thanks, Juan, but I'm good.
Fucking Win Eater, man. So guys, hop in the chat channel Pig or Piggy, Piggy. We need a Zerg. We need a Zerg who's about that MMR. /join space Piggy. So the thing is, obviously, if we just spend a game or two, like I will often do it in an empty custom game. You guys will occasionally see me do this as Terran. Now, in the past, usually what happens whenever my Terran's dipping, or especially as a specific matchup, I will play for several hours off stream. I haven't done it in a long time, but I would do it. I would do it off stream, and I would basically just grind my opening, probably for about half an hour, so about 4 or 5 times, to make sure I know the exact timings and order all the buildings go down and how things should line up. And then that makes that kind of almost a lot more natural, so that when I get harassed, I'm not going to get as fucked up and as thrown off by everything that's going on. So Sheldor here would like to face your bio, but Sheldor's a little bit high. I would like someone who's in Diamond 3 or Plat, not Diamond 2. We'll use Sheldor if we have to, but
it's fine.
Let's just not focus on winning. I think that's actually, it's probably a better exercise, right? Because it's like a mental exercise. Like, even if he's harassing us, focus on your buildings.
I don't focus on winning ever, usually, on my stream. And that's the only time I play ladder. I'm usually focused on, like, supply block or spending money or something.
Cool.
But I haven't ever done a focus on something that I've always been really weak in, and that is... Well, actually, no, I have done the focus on tightening up build orders, but it's been, like, I'd say 7 or 8 months.
Yeah.
So it's been a long time since I've actually just picked a build order and grinded it out. Just because I think it's not very entertaining. I think people generally want to watch me play ladder, and I am a streamer, so I try and do what's entertaining, you know? So
yeah, I mean, at the same time, if you're feeling good though, 10 minutes maybe before you go live, just run through the build order. And this is something I should do more as well, because this goes for everyone watching on my stream. If you guys see me getting really tilted in a matchup, especially as Terran, remind me to practice it off stream, because just like 10 minutes, just playing in an empty custom changes everything. I think it's definitely not as exciting to watch, but it's something which is so important to StarCraft development. So I think it's worth it in the long run to once in a while say, yeah, we're just going to spend half an hour or 40 minutes just grinding this build order in all my TvZs, or even for a whole day. Say every TvZ, I'm just focused on getting the build right rather than winning the games, because then you're going to have so much more rhythm, because everything's going to feel more automatic and you're going to feel less on the back foot. Whereas I would argue that whenever we find ourselves getting overwhelmed or just feeling shitty in a matchup, that also kind of is going to lower the entertainment factor. So something I always try to remind myself of is a little bit of like short-term pain for long-term gain can help there.
I've got a Platinum 1 guy in my chat, 1,000 hours, says he's 3,400. Is that a little too low?
No, that should be great if he can hop on. I mean, we can start with Sheldor this game and we can get him in for the next game. If he's just in chat for now, tell him to, he can hop in chat channel Piggy or whatever. We can get him in for the next game.
Yeah, I mean, Minix is also offering 1,000 hours Minix. If you guys want to play some standard Zerg against me, you join channel Piggy on NA. You can come play. Come play. Yep, it's NA ladder.
Yeah. Maybe we'll just start this one up, see how it goes, and then we can get one of them in a minute. So we've got Sheldor already in here. So whenever you're ready, either start it up, or if you want to wait for one of them, we can just throw one of them in, and that should be fine as well. Sometimes I do see people take like an hour just to find the chat channel. So I'm always like, if we've got someone who's close enough, we'll just go.
There's a bunch of people in the chat talking right now. I'm not sure where to go here. So we've got a D3 Zerg, 3559 MMR.
Yeah, that's a good level.
Yeah, maybe sub out Sheldor for T-Man, if that's cool.
Yeah. Hey Sheldor, sorry, we'll grab someone a little lower. Appreciate the offer. Maybe throw you in later, but don't count on it. Just trying to find a good practice match to adjust to the build timings. So it's the same build you normally do, but it's just ironing out the wrinkles. So trying to be a bit more specific. Just the way TLO would want it.
All right, so I mean, if he wants to spectate, make him.
Sorry, I'm the host, aren't
I? No, I'm the host.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, you're host now.
Okay, so I get T-Man in here. I haven't seen anyone else up in a chat channel, Piggy or Pig. So I don't know if those guys from your chat did or not. They're probably still figuring it out. / join space pig or piggy. T-Man's in. Race up, T-Man, and let's go. Zerg it up.
Doggy.
Let's go. All right, sweet, sweet, sweet. All right, yeah, just do your build order. I'm not going to talk to you at all while you play it. Remember, all you're focusing on is the order. So say it right now while we're queuing in. What is the order of those buildings after your 2-1-1's moving out across the map?
It is a third CC, then it's double Evo, and then it's the third and fourth gas, and then 3 more barracks at the same time.
Hells yeah. All right, sweet as, man. Good luck, have fun.
Spank you.
So we're going to be able to focus on all this sort of stuff. And I'm going to shut up. So if he wants to commentate or anything, that's totally fine. You guys will still be able to hear him here as well. But I don't like to talk to people while they're playing. I think it throws them off 90% of the time. Last time I coached Maynarde, I talked to him way too much while he was playing, and it was a real big distraction. So that depot was late again. Did he not rally the SCV to the ramp? Because I feel like that barracks was there. I'm not sure. Maybe, maybe not. Looks like he's going to go for a very early SCV scout this game, which is interesting. That's a very
It's not dot join
scout.
piggy. It's just / join piggy 1,000 hours.
Need more supply depots.
/. I think that barracks is well timed, actually. Okay.
SCV ready.
It's interesting. Such an early SCV scout. So that's also something I can be like, okay, well, are we doing this every game? Because I didn't think we did that in the previous game. So random variants are things we need to take up.
SCV ready.
Super early SCV scout. Let's try and remove random variants. Either do this every game or none.
SCV ready.
Just because anything that throws the timings off is going to make things a bit weird.
Oh, 1,000 hours, you sweet summer child.
Thank you very much for hanging out, guys.
Not on Twitch. What? How am I going to practice my 2-1-1 against you on Twitch? 1,000 hours? God damn. Woo! Shit.
Yeah. So Maynard's about 3,900 MMR right now, guys. So we grabbed him at 3,600 because we're trying to get him used to doing, the timings a little bit different and a little
Good
bit more
chocolate. That made me feel better. Thank you.
than what he's used to, because he normally doesn't focus on that. So one thing we notice here is if you do the SCV scout, this barracks is delayed. That's how the timing has changed. Where's that reactor? There we go. SCV. He's building a depot, but he's delayed an SCV for it. Slight build malfunction there. Nothing major. Not going to even mention it because I don't think it happens all the time. It's going to be second gas, and we'd like to drop a factory, but he's got to queue up another SCV before he does that. And the thing is also now your Reaper gets to their base and you want to micro it right when you'd normally be putting the factory down. This makes life harder for you if you go for that SCV scout. That being said, it does keep you safe against those one base Lingbane and one base Ravager. The thing is, like I said, it's not about what's the right call. Yeah, it's slightly riskier. You're going to need to have a really crisp, on-the-fly response to all ends if you don't SCV scout. If you do it, you've got more warning. That's obvious. What's important is to always choose one as your favored way of playing and do that the vast majority of the time. That way you get good at that specific thing. The more consistency you have, the more you're able to refine everything. Marines. So he's missing marine production right now. So if he doesn't deny this, it's like really bad. As it is, it's like, oh, this is nice, you know. But he's got to get that marine production going. Okay, queued up 2 marines, 3 marines, stim. That's good, but right now he's wasting a bit too much APM on that Reaper right now.
Command center upgrade.
Yeah, so like he was kind of staring at it for no reason there while he was clicking around. Whereas if he'd gone home, taken a few more seconds, and then queued that Reaper, and then gone back and looked at the Reaper, he actually could have denied the third again, and then it would be massive. As it is, he already distracted the Zerg a fair bit, which was great, but his marine production's really lacking right now. And he also hasn't started his depot wall. So he's going for his depot wall nice and early, actually. There we go. I was about to say if he doesn't start it in 10, 15 seconds, it's kind of bad. But his supply is actually lower than it should be because he's missed a few marines. Once again, not building marines.
Twitch is for the devil. Thank you very much for the resub, my friend. Ooh, that's link speed.
Complete.
11 months. Dude, thank you so much.
So marines are on the way. Starport should be... Yep. Thanks, Ragnar. I think we should be good. There's a few people, I believe, already in the channel, and I think T-Man here should be honestly perfect. So, double medevac starts. Nice swap over. So what's next, guys? What do you do with the factory? I think Maynard's wondering what he does with the factory. That's something we can figure out. What do we do with the factory?
Gangway, coming through.
SCV ready.
TvZ's next. Fantastic. He's got to keep building depots, keep building SCVs as well. He's not building SCVs right now.
Ready
There
for
we go.
dust off.
He's going to build a factory on the tech lab on the factory. That's totally fine. See, his marine count's not there. That's what I was talking about with the non. You need to have pretty much non-stop marines.
SCV ready.
That's totally fine. Go across without them all. Yep.
You want a piece of me, boy?
He's very active with his Reaper.
You pretty little
A little bit unnecessary, but that's fine. So he's gone third CC,
Wait.
double eBay,
Research
Yeah.
complete.
No, I'm good.
and he should go the double gas and then 3 more barracks. Yeah. But he doesn't have the money for
SCV ready.
that all just yet.
SCV ready.
This better be good.
I'm just gonna let him get it at his own pace. He had to pause there to think about it because that is the main thing we're focusing on is those timings. So he's gonna stim in, get a couple of queens, very nice. Good focus fire on the creep tumor there, and
Oh my god.
so as soon as he saw the lings, he could have just backed out and picked up there.
Ready for dust.
Great 2-on-1
Ready.
attack initially. Just should have pulled back. Never go into spore range.
Want a piece of me, boy?
SCV ready.
Super dangerous. So he's gone 2 more barracks. He should have gone all 3.
Justice is delivered. In comes
There we
a
go. He
paddle
remembered it. Good,
from
good,
the
good.
West. Bam! An eye for an eye.
Thing is,
For a tooth.
if he lets himself get tilted by losing those marines, that'll be the real bummer. You're doing really good, actually, macro-wise, so much better than normal. The only thing I'd advise is grabbing your marines and medevacs and going to just kind of sit on the edge of creep with them. And other than that, just focus mostly on your macro. You can kind of just A-move those marines across for now. Keep up the macro, keep smashing it.
Copy that.
See, he doesn't realize how bad his position, how good his position is, just because he's been macroing so much better than he normally does. Everything's like just he's hitting his markers. Now you might be like, oh, but supply-wise, it's not that great, or he's down in workers. Terran supply explodes once your production kicks in. As long as he gets those 3 reactors. Unfortunately, the 3rd barracks is a little late, but he remembers it. Good, 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 good. I don't like that he picked up this medevac. I think he should have just walked across, and he should be more confident doing that, walking around the map with 16 marines and 2 medevacs, you know. It's not the worst thing this week. It's like, oh, I'll keep some marines at home. It's just something to kind of pay attention to.
Ready for dust.
So,
Add-on complete.
Combat
let's
shield would have been
remember
good.
the armory as well. That's all right. Combat shields being late, not a big deal. Let's just get the armory. And, I mean, yeah, you're doing really good. Gas is on the 3rd as well.
Need more supply
But
depots.
all things considered, you're smashing it. Now, don't look for run-by damage with your marines. Just look to clear creep with them whenever you can. But it's not high priority. The main priority is just macroing. It's just whenever you've got a bit of spare time, you can kind of run, snipe some tumors, and then just get out of there.
Get your paws on the supply depot.
He did finish his wall. He should by default be building a wall at his 3rd. Makes a big difference. After
Mineral
natural
clusters all
wall
gone.
is done, always build wall at 3rd base.
SCV ready.
Your pretty little add-ons ready. No supply depot.
Another note from earlier, actually, which I should have written down.
SCV ready.
It's about to get heavy.
Ready for dust off.
Ready to roll out.
Gangway, coming through.
SCV ready.
Research complete. Ain't no minerals left in that cluster.
So I was talking about the depot wall. Oh, 3rd CC should finish wall off.
SCV ready.
Make sure depots are placed correctly to allow this. So that's super random, that 4th command center. You should be going extra barracks before you do that.
Gangway, coming.
SCV ready.
Alright, we don't need any more SCVs. We've got more than enough SCVs.
Sorry, mate. I'm going full TY.
Trying to go full T in, yeah. You're doing good. Just, yeah, Marauders, Marines, tanks, and depots. If you can, I mean, we've got 2-2 on the way. We should already be grouping our army and starting to push out and set up that push on the 4th base. Remember that high ground push? There's no creep over there, you drop store it, so that's a good place to group up your whole army and start pushing. If you want, you can leave 1 drop on the map, but don't get overly fancy. Most of your focus will swap into your main army, and you just want to make sure you have non-stop units producing masses of tanks and bio, and we should be able to kick some ass
That's
in
all
this
the
game.
minerals you're getting out of that cluster.
So that's a good scan. But having 2 drops out is not
Mineral
necessary. A single
cluster's
drop is
all
really good.
gone.
Single
Good
drop is
supply
really good.
depot.
He's
Get
got to
your
siege these
balls up.
tanks. He's got to siege these
That's all
tanks. He
the
should be
minerals
good.
you're getting out of that. Need more
Those guys are
supply
going in,
depot.
which is nice. Why is he unsieging those tanks?
Oh my god. Oh fuck!
Very good. And he's won this game.
Somebody, get me out of this
Upgrades
mess.
all set.
Let's have a blast.
You want a piece of me, boy?
So yeah, 4th CC should only go down a little bit later after you got the extra barracks from the water production.
Upgrades all set.
And then Ghost Academy is like the end game. Yeah, he's got it. Try to break that habit of rallying your shit across the map. Really bad habit for TvZ.
Add-on
Yeah.
Another
complete.
thing is after your natural wall's done, we should have been building depots at our 3rd. So
Ready
we
for
should always
dust
have a
off.
wall off on that, left-hand side of our 3rd base as well.
Oh, like here.
Yeah, not the biggest deal, but just something to get in the habit of. There's no reason for those depots to be in our main or natural when they could have been protecting our 3rd. But for now, just, gear up and go push the left-hand side now. You cleared the right, push the left. If you want, you can have a single dropship on the opposite side of the map. It's always good to have that. But the most important thing is to just be pushing. Once again, we're maxed out and just trying to finish the game. We've got Biotank, we've got a 4th.
Max supply.
So
Look at
just
that.
set your army up and this time push down the left-hand side.
Okie dokie.
You want a piece of me, boy?
So this is good that we got a win here because it gives you confidence in the process a little bit. Just kind of tricks your brain into being like, yeah, I'm doing the good thing.
Command center up.
Even though obviously the opponent is, a little bit lower than his
Pretty
MMR,
little add-ons ready.
it sets you up just to get some positive reinforcement. It's only a couple hundred MMR difference. It's not like it's crazy huge either. It's definitely within the realm of possibility that they'd run into each other on ladder. But like right now, he's not watching his main arm. So like, what if the opponent just had 50 banelings and just rolled them in? Maynard potentially could suddenly be behind or
Somebody,
losing
get
this
me
game.
out of this mess.
And this is something which you've got to put a little bit more focus in those pushes at those times. I think overall he's usually doing it okay, but he could just do it a little bit better. Yeah, pre-spread was okay there. Ooh, that was a new command with those. Oh, he clicked on
Oh,
single
stop
Hydra.
doing that.
But all things considered,
Ay, 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 that fucking rally habit, man. You weren't kidding.
good when you're doing 2-base all-ins, but this sort of game, it's like it gets you punished so hard if they run 30 lings into your base or something. It's like one of those things that's like, I should not lose to just a couple lings running in, but that suddenly everything turns to chaos if you don't have units at your rally point, kind of grouping up. All things considered, though, that was really good. I like that, like, you went back at that point and you were like, oh shit, and you kind of were thinking, what do I do now? Do I go 30C, eBays? And it worked out way nicer. So just host up another game. Let's hop into another one and practice it. So you went for a really fast SCV scout in that game. Is that something you always do in TvZ?
At my level, the amount of people that go pull first and just flood lings at me is too damn high. So I scout with my SCV as out of habit to try and make sure that they're keep an eye on whether or not they're going like pull first or hatchery first, because I just want to know. I'll generally get my CC on the low ground anyway, unless it's like a roach rush or something. But I want to know whether or not to send my Reaper across the map or patrol it at home.
Yep, that's totally fine. You're going barracks gas, so it's cool. As long as you do it every game, that's cool. As long as it's consistent,
I
it'll
try
be
to. I do
factored in.
forget sometimes.
Yeah,
Especially
just try
if
to
I'm
remember to
calling
do
it
it
or
every game so the timings are always the same, because it'll be good that way. But it helps you a lot against one base Ravager and stuff as well. It gives you a bit of a heads up, get a bunker up in time. There was a moment where you were kind of umming and erring a little about what your factory should be doing, but you ended up doing the right thing. You just kind of added the tech lab, let it chill for a bit, and then started up tank production a little bit later. Your third CC, normally it really helps to finish your wall off, either with that or your double engineering bay. because when your double drop goes out, if you've got your wall open, you know, we sometimes just lose to a bunch of lings running in. So we always want to make sure that's not a possibility. Yeah.
Sleepwalker 92 says if you send the barracks SCV, that sees one base Ravager, and it helps you be consistent with the same timing.
Yeah, you can still spot if it's pull first or not, just with the barracks SCV. Definitely, it means you spend a little bit less minerals because you're not sending an SCV as early. To be honest, I don't care because I kind of would rather you do what you've been doing because you're used to it. Because I think it's like such a small difference. Either way, your SCV scouts, goes home and starts mining. I'd rather you just do what you're used to doing because that's what you're going to be better at, while we focus on instead the order and the new things and that sort of stuff. You went in with the 2-on-1 and you lost the medevacs. So the mistake there, obviously, there was a little slightly miss micro.
It was a fat fingering, man. There was a serious Nard micro moment where I like tried to load up the medevacs, but then I like unhockeyed one of them and it just died, and I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah, I just have it as a rule, never go into spore range. Like I might start shooting the spore, but I'll never like go up to it because there's always the chance those lings wrap around, and I panic every time I have to pick up over spore range. So my personal rule is never run into spore range. Like you'd already killed 2 queens and a few drones, just like, you know, focus the hatch. Oh, there's lings here, pick up and leave kind of thing. And I always try to set up the pickup before they come in with the units. So I kind of assume they're going to run in with like 50 Zerglings or a bunch of Banes. So my medevacs are just trying to like already float above the Marines. And that goes hand in hand with staying out of spore range, right? Because that way I'm just giving as little chance as possible for me to fuck up.
Yeah, very very rarely does that happen to me. That was actually like a rare fuck up that just happened with it just dying into a spore crawler.
Cool.
Like I usually am quicker about picking it out of there. I just got a bit of a boner because I was like, I've killed 2 queens and there's no units here. Oh yeah, shit. You know, stick around and start gunning down drones and maybe that can damage the hatchery a bunch.
Yeah. It was still good damage and you were still in a fine spot after that. Like, because you killed the queens and stuff. The creep was handicapped from T-Man. So it felt pretty awesome. Let's just hop into another game. So, I mean, what are we changing? Not a lot, really. We're basically just trying to get the order down again. Yeah?
Yeah, maybe try and get my armory a little bit earlier. Someone in chat was just saying,
yeah,
you know, that apart from my armory being late, looked pretty good.
Yeah, so what can we have as a good trigger for the armory? I mean, obviously it's like, hey, your upgrades are 2/3 done. Probably after you add the 3 barracks, it'll naturally be something to kind of remember. So I'm going to try and write down that armory timing. 3 more barracks and then armory. I'll put down as the standard transition into 3 base. And we'll see. Maybe that's a little early. We'll come up with a trigger that naturally works for it in the build. I'll keep my eyes on that for this game. But for now, we should be good. You ready?
I'm so ready.
You're so ready. Time to shift the something blue shift. Good luck. I'm like, there's no joke here. I'm like, you're going to shift the Zerg into the blue. I was like, what the fuck does that even mean, man?
He tried, guys. He tried.
Good luck, man. Smash some face.
No problem. Thank you.
More barracks before 4th CC. Not important to mention now, Zilmergs. I'll mention it later. It's in his notes. There's only so much the human brain can absorb and actually put into action at once. So I kind of just want him to keep practicing this. It's all written in the notes.
Hope you're enjoying the coaching stream today, chat. I know it's something a little bit different.
If Maynard is studious, he will read the document. Now, I know Maynard. Maynard's awesome.
I actually really enjoy watching people getting coached
and
coaching other people. So I think it's like something that's a
We'll
little bit different,
out.
but also kind of cool.
We'll find out if he reads through the notes and focuses and watches the replays later. That's one of the best things you can do.
No.
Is just kind of watch those replays
fucking
yourself
God.
later and everything.
Bad start.
We can just restart it if you want. Make the
No,
build
it's
nice
fine.
and tight.
It's fine.
SCV ready.
I like restarting it because this is a custom, it's a
we'll
practice
just
scenario. I
go with
like
the
the
barracks
restart
SCV
and just
instead
get
of
your
the
build right because that's what you're focusing on. You're building
SCV,
muscle memory,
the
so you want everything to kind of be correct. Maynard's stream etiquette is bad? No. I'm muted. I can turn him down, but I actually like hearing his little comments while he plays because I'm coaching him.
Cool.
It's more just like if he wanted to like go 100% hardcore, he could ignore chat, but he's a streamer. You know, you can't really do that. So obviously he could ignore his chat, but there are moments where he says things and I want to catch what he's saying out loud, because as a streamer he naturally talks while he plays a little bit, and that gives you insight into what's going on and what's falling apart, what's going well, what's going badly. So it's not a, yeah. There's 300 APM players who bronze or silver and micro but just don't macro. Oh yeah, that's true. That's true.
Command center upgrade.
Not often, but there's the occasional ones. I remember watching Dot play against some fucking Terran who just kept making liberators and like sieging and unsieging, like dodging spores and dodging the biles and shit, and I was like, wow. I was like, this fucker. Catboy Slim, thank you so much for the sub, by the way. I really appreciate the support. Sorry, when I get into coaching mode, I really try to just hone in on the student and focus on what they're doing. And yeah, is the noob thing something I do on Mondays? No, just it's something I only do once every month. It's actually been a few months till I've done it since the last one, but this one coming up is this Sunday, 9th December. My Monday, so next Monday for me, Sunday for most of you guys in America and Europe. And that's Monday morning. That's early Monday morning. Sorry, I didn't actually put the Australian time
Kind of messing
in,
up the build order a little bit this
but it'll
game.
be for the whole stream, so it's basically just my normal stream hours. Factory timing being slightly late doesn't really matter too much here. It actually doesn't change anything.
Your pretty little add-ons ready.
Yeah, he's gonna lose his Reaper. More importantly, he's gonna tilt when the Reaper dies.
Well, that's really bad.
It's not. It doesn't matter. Losing the Reaper does not matter with a 2-on-1. Unless they all in you. Feels bad, but it actually doesn't matter.
Command center upgrade.
Your ability to
complete.
say, doesn't matter. Just focus on what I can do. What I do have control over. Important skill in StarCraft. Let's see how well Maynard does it in a game, which he feels is a bit off the rails already. You should always start the starport, then the add-on. As long as the starport starts by 3:30, it's on time. His is going to go down at 3:40. 10 seconds late, not a big deal. Not a big deal. Really doesn't matter. That's totally fine. Oh yeah, I forgot to write down in the notes. I'm going to write it here. Try to get in the habit of just A-moving 2 medevacs and 16 marines out later on and clearing the edges of creep. You have a tendency to go for drops on the flanks. Great if they find an empty mineral line, but does nothing to set up your big 2-2 push. That's where you win games. So focus on clearing creep and getting the consistent setup for your big army push, your big mid-game push. Third CC's out very early. Should be doing it in the wall.
Armed and ready.
Just A-move across the map. If there's lings like that, don't even ever pick up. Just A-move across the map and keep macroing. If you need to use your E-base to finish your wall off, go for it. But you should always be comfortable doing this. If they're ever being fuckers and running around with those lings, you can always just A-move your 2-on-1 across the map. And it only takes a few seconds longer to get across there. So you can still do it pretty much as the same timing, but without the fancy picking up, dropping, oh shit, they're run by, all that sort of distraction.
Yeah, it's a good rule of thumb, actually.
So yeah, it gets here a few seconds later.
Roaches.
Still here pretty fast. And that's GG. There are 10 roaches about to pop. If T-Man can gather them up. T-Man hasn't pulled queens to the front. I think T-Man's just dead. T-Man pulled those units back. Would have been able to hang on here, but...
There.
So Maynard goes back. He adds 1-1. He did not finish his wall off.
Well then.
So really good habit in games like that, and you should do this on ladder as well. Stay in the game when it finishes and keep doing your build. So this is a way you can get that build practice. And people always ask me, Pig, why do you stay in the game when it's done? And it's just because there's like the backlog of things you've deprioritized. So in that game, you're about to add your gases and your extra 3 barracks, right? So if you're like, cool, basically let's simulate what would have happened when I looked away from the Marines. Bounce home, add the gases, add 3 barracks. Small thing there. we didn't wall off once again. Now, that time we moved out with the Marines doing that method, so it was fine. But it's just one of those things. Try to remember to put the third CC or the double eBay in the wall. Which one do you prefer? I like third CC. because it
Yeah, I
walls
think
off
third
really
CC. I
quickly.
really hate having my upgrades as part of my wall.
Yeah, like Roach Ravager timings, and they're
Yeah,
like landing the biles right in between the two eBays. Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah.
Let's do one more game here. Let's do one more game, and
right.
we can maybe get a different player in as well. But I think you're doing really good. So we'll finish up with one more game, and this is actually awesome. Just kind of having that consistency there because the macro feels way better. Later on as well, you know how I told you to kind of just A move across the map. When I was like, you know, you have a tendency to send your drops in from the flanks of the map. And I wrote this down in the notes and kind of poke in. If you find an undefended mineral line, it's great, but it doesn't do anything to set up your future push. So versus players who spread creep a lot, you kind of let them. Whereas just having a single drop, or I prefer even just grab all your Marines and medevacs as you're taking the third and kind of just A-move them across the map. And just go, okay, stim in, kill their front few creep tumors. And it's always on the path you want to push later, right? So towards their fourth base, wherever that is on the map. And you kind of look at it and you just go, oh, okay, let's clear some creep, run back. And it's just nice because it also, oh shit, they're running in with an attack. You'll spot that. You'll clear up spotting Zerglings. Whereas whenever you pick up and unload, it doesn't do that. It doesn't kill overlords on the way that you fly past. So it lets them keep map vision. And it's also something where you always, whenever you're picking up and unloading, you always have a tendency to go around the sides and want to look for the back door. But realistically, we're going to get more consistency. Yeah, I mean, with the initial 2-on-1, you want to go for the third, but like I'm talking about later on. Like, you know how you always load up single drop ships? Yeah, later on, we want to be just clearing the creep in the middle to set up our big push. Because even if you kill 10 drones, like it's nice, but Zerg can kind of just replace it. Whereas if we can set up our big 2-2 push, that's what wins the game. Like almost always, TvZ comes down to that big 2-base push with like your 7 siege tanks, your bunch of bio, your 180, 190 supply, 2-2's just finished. And if your army's completely on creep, it's usually a completely different story to if you've cleared that creep ahead of time and you're just on the edge of it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Forever Noob is wanting to help.
Yep.
Big Chunk is wanting to help.
I actually played Forever Noob on ladder today. He generally plays really weird, but he said that his standard is around 3600.
Oh, okay.
So.
Yeah, I mean, I think any skills should be fine, so we can get Forever Noob in whenever you're ready. Let's do it.
I'm good.
Good luck, have fun. Smash
Forever
it.
Swarmhost. I don't think he'll make Swarmhost this game, Forge Fast Expand. I don't think so. All right, I'm ready.
My man, good luck, have fun. Yeah, it doesn't really matter what units he goes. Just whatever he's comfy with. All right, good luck.
In before proxy hatch.
In
Be the last time he's my practice partner if that's what happens.
Yeah, once like 2 years ago, I had someone do that. Some guy helped with like a silver student, and he was GM. Like clearly
good.
like a map hacker kind of guy, one of those real characters. Yeah.
Swinging his
Yeah,
big
like
GM
hop-
dick around like, oh, look how good I am at the video game.
The funny part was I was watching from the silver player's view, so I didn't realize the other guy had covered the map in like bases and was massing carriers out of 14 Stargates, and I was like, okay, well. I mean, he left my student alone enough, so he still got the practice in. Like, we still got our 15 minutes focusing on, like, just the mechanics and talking through how to do things. So I was like, yeah, that's fine. Anyway, let's get in our groove and let's kick some ass.
All right.
But yeah, trying to discipline yourself to, like, not just randomly do inconsistent and random things is a big part of StarCraft.
Get your balls on the supply.
Trying to make sure there's meaning behind everything you do. A lot of us just change things for no reason all the time, and if you can fight that urge, it really helps you out. Singularity, thanks for the 16-month resub. Sweet 16. Much love, my friend. Thank you very much for the long-term support. Yeah, guys, this Wednesday, Scarlet faces off first Hero Marine to find out who is the StarCraft Master Champion. So, info's in chat there. It's going to be 10:30 p.m. CEST, 4:30 p.m. EDT, 1:30 p.m. PDT. That's 8:30 a.m. Australia time on Thursday, but it's Wednesday evening for y'all. So I think it should be really good. It should be really good. Stay in game after opponent leaves and finish macro cycles / things that you've deprioritized whilst microing. Yeah. Try to give yourself OCD about kind of like ticking the tasks off the list is such an awesome way to do things. What do you build the Overseer for scouting for? Says Clear Reciteer. Does it matter if you're going to be stubbornly massing roaches? No. It doesn't. It's a good habit to get into, for sure. Clear Reciteer. You still get an idea of, oh, they're building lots of tanks, or they're building a wall, so maybe I want to take more bases and get more economy.
The Grim Reaper has arrived.
If they're building air units, well, maybe you should learn to not stubbornly mass roaches. Probably a good idea. Probably. I don't know.
SCV ready. SCV ready.
Oh, you can still win a lot of games with Mass Roach, but I don't know what you guys are talking about in there.
Add-on complete.
The hardest race is the one you like the least, and the easiest is the one you like the most and have the most fun with, Flav Kadan. Not even joking, StarCraft's a vast game. You can play it so many different ways. Yeah, some people argue Protoss is the easiest, some say it's the hardest. Likewise for Zerg, likewise for Terran.
Add-ons ready.
I feel like it just comes down to what you enjoy the most. There is no easiest or hardest. It honestly is the one you're most motivated to improve with.
SCV ready.
Whee!
Command center upgrade complete.
This better
Oh,
be
come on, says Flav Kadan. No, really. Like, everyone's different. Because how am I meant to, how am I meant to know? You would need to, if you want actual honest advice, you'd want to ask as many people who just started playing the game as possible. I mean, I can barely remember learning StarCraft, and I already knew how to play RTS games. I think it changes if you have RTS experience. It changes if you understand how Brood War works. It changes if you're focused more on micro or macro. Like, it's different based on who you are as a player. So definitely it's not something where there's just like, oh, this one's easier. It's like there's easy ways to play all of those races. To simplify it, you just have to do those, yeah. Like, a lot of people always want to ask that stuff. You gotta understand, StarCraft is an incredibly well-balanced game. It's not like these games where it's like, oh, what's the most OP? Like, a lot of people go around, play a ton of games, and they're like used to there just being something that's just grossly stronger or easier than the others. StarCraft is not like that, despite all of the whine about Protoss and that sort of shit. Yeah.
This better be good.
Yeah, just choose whatever you have the most fun with. I mean, honestly, I think you're much better off asking people what each race feels like and what the strengths and weaknesses of each race are, and then choosing the one that you feel appeals to you. Because it'll naturally be the one you play better. It's not me just like shooting hot air out of my arse. It's like, no, this is actually like what I feel. So not getting rid of that is really bad. Not raising that depots. There we go, good, he raised it.
SCV ready.
Kind of bad. Interesting, he's going for the natural, not the third. So he hasn't thought about this map. He hasn't thought about where the third is. He's just kind of going
Base is under
across the map
attack.
through the middle. Ooh, he's got to pull those SCVs to repair.
Armed and ready.
Those are banelings. Oh, don't pick up and go home.
Boy.
Oh, you don't want to do that. No. Maybe? No, I really don't think so. If he raises that actually works out really well. He's unloaded outside of it. Yeah, Forever Noob just did a random Baneling wave. Maynard going home there was not terrible. It's not great either. So he's gone third CC, now he's adding a random gas. Both at the same time, not just one. He's rallying across the map? Okay, no, he stopped. Good.
Who wants some?
Yeah, so Forever Noob's just kind of is one of these like by field players, does some random things, throws some spanners in the works. Bam, come on. Kill the creep tumor. Good. He's got to pick up. So you notice how he wasn't setting up for the pickup ahead of time.
Research complete.
He was stutter stepping into the corner, but he wasn't focusing on getting the metavacs on top of it. So that's what I was talking about with you should focus on getting that on top of it. Earlier when I was talking about the medevac mistake he made earlier, is he's not setting himself up to make
Where are
things
my
easy
hands?
for himself.
Where are my hands? There we go.
Okay.
We could use some help here. SCV ready.
Should always clear the overlords on high ground near your base before picking up Marines to move out. So that would have been really nice. Needed to be more decisive with stimming onto the Banes and raise the wall behind your Marines.
Things are getting rowdy at your base.
Instead, we let them in
Mineral clusters all gone.
for free.
Go, go. SCV ready.
So he's got an armory, which is nice, but he's only added 2. Oh no, he did add 3 more barracks. The third one was once again delayed, so I didn't actually catch if he had the money for it or not. He's got to lower that wall. Yeah,
Upgrade complete.
it's good he's got a couple turrets up.
Good.
Doesn't cover everything, and he really needs one in that mineral line. But
Add-on complete.
yeah, if Maynard can just get on top of his macro, he'll do totally fine here. So he's gonna start his depots. They should be at the 3rd, because it's like been a messy game. I'm totally okay with him just throwing them down here, since this area is not really secured. Where are those meters? Just like out of the map. The hotkeys of Forever Noob are kind of hilarious. Doesn't control group eggs, just rallies units. Yeah, old school mechanics. That makes the game much harder to play. Okay, Maynard's trying to go drilling claws, which is cute, but it's like so unimportant right now. He's just got to keep building units, keep building SCVs, keep building depots, keep building SCVs, and just kind of deal with the aggression.
What?
And I think he's doing a good job, all things considered. Like, these mutas are being microed, but right now Maynard is so far ahead. Like, if he just starts his 2-2 and just keeps playing this out, like, he'll be in a good spot.
SCV ready.
Good micro there by Maynard. Starts +2. Starts vehicle weapons, starts +2 armor. Starts gases, more SCVs. Needs to kill up more Marines. Hasn't done that in a while.
SCV ready.
Oh, fucking. CCs have been unhotkeeyed.
Still hasn't queued up Marines in a while. Why would you stim in there when you see that many mutas? He was tunnel visioning on the creep tuners, that's why. Oh well.
Somebody, get me out of this mess.
Research is wrapped up.
That factory's in a terrible position. His base layout's really nice. If he puts an add-on on that, I'm gonna shout at him. I'd be like, don't you fucking dare. That's so gross. I mean, I guess the tanks can go through there, so it's not the worst, it's just pretty messy. Oh, he just killed the tunnelings. Lost some medevacs, but his macro's on point. Maynard's got this in the bag.
Mineral clusters all gone.
Gangway.
Get your
I really
paws
hope
on
he
the
lifts
supply
that. We'll find out. We'll find out. I always put the factory like out here somewhere, just because whenever you panic throw it down in your main, like this base luckily has a lot of space. It's just very easy to wall yourself in, which can really suck.
Gangway. Coming through.
He should still be building SCVs at this point,
This better be good.
and depots.
SCV ready.
He's gonna go for the push. 2-2's almost done, so that's a good move. He's got an extra turret,
rowdy at your
but
base.
only one. He's just rallied all of his barracks all the way out front. They should not be. They should be rallied out there at the furthest.
Your pretty
He's
little
gonna lose
animal.
+2 armor.
Oh my god. No! Fuck!
Ready for dust off.
He's panicking.
I, like, took me too long to realize what he was doing.
It doesn't matter. He's focusing so much on that. You just need to focus on your army. Like,
Upgrades
this
all
is
set.
everything in this bush.
Gangway. Coming through.
He's got enough Marines, he's still going to win, but that's exactly what I'm talking about. With just moving way forward, this is every Terran's mistakes. As soon as their adrenaline gets going, they're like, I gotta push, I gotta push, I gotta push. And they don't realize just how important it is to actually spread that shit out. Spread, 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 siege, spread, 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 spread. Whatever we do not move this as a control group. We just keep spreading, keep poking forward, keep macroing. There's no way he can trade into this efficiently. As long as we never move our control group as one big ball, and we just keep spreading it and keep reinforcing, this game's ours. So this is really good practice for, like, these units are still too clumped. They should be spread out right now.
This better be good. You want a piece of me, boy?
Real dust up at that base of yours.
SCV ready.
He's getting counterattacked. Tanks will clean it up. Like right now he's focusing a bit too hard on this.
Ready for dust off.
Yeah, just focus on the macro. If you don't have tanks to force them into you, you just want to do that.
Oh boy.
Good job. Good job not panic selecting your army. So your units were pre-spread. He got a few nice Baneling hits at the start, but after that it was just tanks, marines doing their work. So now we can just finish the game. Smash it! Kill the Zerg! Blast their brains! Leave their bodies all over the ground! Burst their Banelings!
Yeah, bitter. My dog's going ham. Loki, oi! That shut him up.
You a big fan of Norse mythology?
I am actually. I was gonna get him a big.
pretty
I was gonna
sick.
get him a Loki is a Japanese Spitz, which is basically a medium-sized version of a Samoyed. And then the plan was to get a Samoyed and call him Thor. So he has like a little brother that's bigger than him.
That would be awesome.
So it's gonna be Loki and Thor. I haven't gotten around to the Samoyed yet because dogs are expensive, man. Loki, oi! Loki, come here.
Need a lot of time, a lot of love.
Yeah, lots of walking as well.
My man, awesome. Yeah, so when you did move forward there, a little bit too YOLO, moving a bit too close with that tank army and leaving our Marines all clumped in that first fight. Very lucky he didn't have another 10, 20 Banes in that army, or we would have been in big trubs. Because those Banelings luckily all died before they connected with that big ball of Marines. But other than that, I mean, he obviously was a bit of a weird player who did some strange things. Just running around with the Banelings.
I wasn't expecting
and stuff.
Banelings in the natural. I mean, that is Minix's version of standard, though. Minix is a very not standard player. I'd imagine it probably hurt him physically to play that game.
It's good practice. It's good practice. Yeah, if you just reacted with those Marines going out the wall straight away and then raised the wall behind them, that would have been good. At first, I was like, oh, we shouldn't turn around with the drop. But then I was like, I'm kind of the same where I'm like, oh, well, I know I can't micro two things at once. So if I try to attack with my drop while microing the defense, I know I'm probably going to throw both away, right?
I was expecting
yeah.
the thought process behind bringing the drops home. So just to make a case for that was I was expecting there to be some lings somewhere to come in after that. I didn't expect just a handful of Banelings.
Yeah.
If it was just a handful of Banelings and I knew that, then I would have just left my reinforcements to deal with it because it's not that scary. But I thought he was busting me open for a ling flood into my natural. That's why I brought
arguably he would have got in though if he was doing that, right? Like before your drop got home. So timing wise was the issue there, where it would probably be better, especially if he's rallying Lingbane, to like cut off the reinforce and try to force him home. Since you're already at his base, because picking up and then unloading back at home takes so long. Like he'd already busted in and cleared your natural of quite a few workers. If he had lings, they'd probably be in the main by that point as well. So I think it just needed to be a bit more of a decisive response. Seeing someone morphing Banelings in front of your wall is always something which it's easy to be indecisive at. But I think like if you just immediately built a second layer of wall with eBays, or if you just said, no, you know what, like I'm gonna do this or that. But the problem there was just that we actually like let him in. Like if he had lings without Lingbane, what we did there would have been the worst possible because we let him in with the Marines coming down and blocking your depot from raising. So it was just the Marine move out was the big problem. Because otherwise he would have had to blow up most of his Banelings getting through the wall off, which would have been a little bit better.
I must admit, even just starting to formulate a plan makes me feel so more comfortable in the game. Like, even though some stuff happened to make me freak the fuck out, like when the mutas were hitting me, I like wasn't ready for mutas, so I didn't have my turret coverage. I hadn't split little pockets of Marines out into the mineral lines, which I like to do. But I was just like, I was freaking the fuck out, and I lost engineering bay, and I was just like, oh shit, everything's not happening. I didn't put my guys back on gas, didn't take my fourth, all that stuff that I wanted to do. But even just having a plan feels so much more comfortable.
It makes
like
a huge
all three of those
difference.
games that I played, even though some of those games had some harassment and things to multitask and deal with while macroing.
Yeah.
Most of my TvZs, honestly, the Zerg never attacks me until they the Zerg is just like a wall full of spikes, and I throw myself at them and die.
Queen
Like, I don't-
Spangbangs.
Yeah,
spread.
like they just sit there with Lingbane Hydra, and I lose all my shit to it. Or you know, the mutas will attack me, and I'll defend
Yeah.
against it not too badly, because usually my stuff's at home. But having a plan feels a lot more comfortable than winging it, and I think that my homework is going to have to be doing that for all of my matchups, not just this one.
It makes such a big difference. Yeah, like definitely don't be trying to learn too many things at once. Like something I do, especially if I'm really learning a lot of new stuff, is I'll try to do like a simple all-in that I know in one of my 3 matchups. Because I'm like, okay, this is an all-in I already know. I know it's pretty decent, but it's like a simple game plan because I'm expending so much mental energy learning and you like being really refined and playing a good solid TvZ, good solid TvP. So I'm going to do this proxy marauder in TvT or something like that, you know, just to make it a little bit easier on you. But yeah, definitely like just ironing out all those details is the most important thing. And this is kind of the diamond conundrum for many players, is they get to a point where it's like, okay, there's this struggle in this matchup. How do I beat X or Y or what's going on? And I think you actually start by defining what you want to do better. And once you've done that and you've practiced it a little bit, the actual problems become way more clear. Like you're like, okay, I really need a better plan against like Mass Mutalisk or something because they keep getting in and pulling me around. But once you've got that like that game plan, it suddenly becomes like, oh wait, this is consistently a problem, and it's not just because I'm causing chaos by being inconsistent. It's like, okay, I just need to come up with a bit of a better response to X, and then you start kind of having these reactive plays that feel a lot better. My chat's pointing out I was going to yell about your add-on. No, it was a second factory. I thought it was going to wall your tanks out into your base. But there was a way around the left. You actually get a lot of space in your main there. I was like, if he fucking doesn't move that factory before putting on an add-on on the second one, it's going to be so bad. And then I was like, oh no, there's a path around the left, so it was okay.
Lucky, because I do have a habit of walling in my shit.
Maybe put your factory on the low ground and the natural of the third. Yeah. I like to put it like between the bases because I often like it's map dependent, but I often run out of space by the time I get to that many buildings. So after my 2-base production, I almost always put my shit out front, even though it's a little exposed, just because I'm like, I just block my shit too often otherwise. But that's my thing. So it's map dependent and it's personal.
Cool. Alrighty.
But yeah, you're looking so much better. You out macroed the shit out of him. He was microing his little packs of mutas and banelings around, and you just were steadily getting ahead. Like your 2-2 was a little delayed. You know, your second factory was quite delayed, but these were necessary delays because he's running in with mutas and lings constantly, trying to throw you off your game. So overall, the fact that you came back to the essentials of like get things in the correct order, it worked out well. Yeah. Honestly, I think that's it, man. Yeah. Define and refine.
Define and refine.
And if you look at the homework list at the top of the document as well, so kind of part 2 of just the build is, remember, just the engagement. So it's basically just about, number 1, that creep clearing, right? Rather than drops on the side of the map. So I'm just going to put that in bold because that's something which I kind of said earlier is to, rather than drop the back sides. So that's something which is important.
So like go up the guts more often instead of around the outside?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
And once pre-spread, never move the whole army as a key.